Today we will start our lecture number 15. The topic for today topic is infinite bus. So what is the infinite bus? We know that there are different generating stations are there. For example, in Maharashtra, there is a one Tarapur power plant. It is a nuclear power plant is there in Tarapur. Then in Nasik plant, there is a one more plant in Nasik. It's a Aclara power plant. And say, for example, there is a Jalgaon or say Deepnagar and Paras, Kuradi, and number of power plants are there. They are different location and the type also different. It may be a Koyana power plant. It is a hydro power plant is there. So there's all generating stations are mixed of different type. It may be nuclear, gas power plant, thermal power plant, and hydro power plant. In one power plant, suppose if you consider only say Deepnagar power plant, it consists of 250 megawatt 2 units. Similarly, in the Chandrapur, there are 250 megawatt 2 units are there, and 210 megawatts 4 units are there. So these are different machines, so different alternators. Those are connected in parallel. So the number of alternators are connected in parallel in one area, one generating station. It is called as a one area. Okay. Say there are 4 number of generators are connected, alternators are connected. They are parallel. Now this parallel combination is connected with the second area parallel combination. So therefore these are called as a for these 4 machines, it is called as a single large machine is there. Okay, so because of this one, it have a large inertia. It has a first is that because of all generators are connected in parallel, so it has very low or say negligible impedance because they are connected in the parallel, isn't it? Second is that the inertia of the system become very large, is very large because of 2 reasons. The frequency and voltage. Because of these 2 reasons, the voltage and frequency remains constant regardless of load. It means that there is maybe change in the load. The load is changing. The voltage will remain constant. Even though the load is decreasing, again the voltage is remain constant. We come to know that in our basic equivalent circuit of alternator is that, suppose this is the equivalent circuit of the alternator. It is the excitation EMF EF, and this is the terminal voltage VT. So as the load increases, as the load on the generator increases, the current flows from the winding resistance and reactance. Therefore, definitely some voltage or resistance drop across the resistance or impedance total, and we get terminal voltage is smaller than the excitation EMF. So this is the reason. We found that by increase in the load condition, the terminal voltage get decreases for the single machine supplying load to the single area. But if you connect a large number of generators, those are connected in parallel in one area. This number of generators connected to the second area. Second area also comprises of large number of generators, maybe 4, 5, 6 generators are there. That is alternators are there. Again, they are connected in parallel. And because of this all parallel combination, the equivalent impedance of the circuit become very small. And once the equivalent circuit of the circuit become very small, we can say that the excitation EMF EF is nearly equal to the terminal voltage, isn't it? So this is the case. Now, second, as nowadays the capacity of the generator is go on increasing. Earlier we found that the thermal plant of the 63 megawatt, for example, in the Paras, the capacity of the generating station generators is 63 megawatt, whereas nowadays it is a 250 megawatt, 2 units are there. The one thing is that the generator capacity increasing, its inertia of the rotating part also get increases. Once the machine is connected to the parallel to each other, and this parallel combination connected to the second parallel area of the machine, under such condition the rotational inertia of the machine is very large. And once the inertia of the machine is very large, the minute change or even the impact of the load does not alter the speed of alternators, and hence the frequency remain constant. So the infinite bus is the bus where the voltage, frequency, and phase angle is remain constant regardless of say load condition. It's called as a infinite bus of the system. Okay. Now, but how to obtain the infinite bus? This is our question. We have understood the infinite bus is the bus where the voltage and frequency phase angle will remain constant regardless of the load condition. So the characteristic of infinite bus is number one is that the terminal voltage remain constant because the incoming machine is too small as compared to the number of machines connected in parallel. Second is the frequency remain constant because the rotational inertia is too large and it does not alter by the incoming machine. Incoming machine is the machine which is connected in parallel with the existing machine. So the number of machine is connected. So form a grid or form an infinite bus. The machine which you are connecting machine here, it is called as an alternator. Okay, one alternator is connecting in the existence of the number of parallel alternators. Those are already working in parallel. It is called as an incoming machine. Third characteristic is that the synchronous impedance is very small since the system has a large number of alternators are in parallel. So this is the meaning of infinite, or this is the characteristic of infinite bus. Now we will see how to obtain the infinite bus. Okay, so obtaining an infinite bus. Say for example, we have a number of alternators are connected in parallel. Number one alternator, say it is called as a generator 1, okay, whose impedance is say ZS, synchronous impedance is ZS. The second generator is connected in parallel, G2, it have also having the impedance is ZS, and so on. There are a number of generators are connected, up to n number of generators are connected, and its impedance is ZS over there. Okay, so let the terminal voltage is V. V is the terminal voltage. E is the EMF induced or excitation EMF or induced EMF. ZS is the synchronous impedance of each machine. Here machine is, we are just try to understand, it is an alternator. Okay, generator I could call as a machine. Next, we can say that therefore the voltage V is equal to E minus I into Z. We have this equation. So here V is equal to E minus Z equivalent into I, because all the alternators are connected in parallel. So if you draw the single line diagram, so it is just similar to the impedance is there and some voltage source are there and it is connected to ground. So number of impedances, each impedance is equal to Zs. So the equivalent impedance Z equivalent is equal to Zs upon N, where N is the number of alternators or number of machines those are connected in parallel. Z equivalent is equal to Zs upon N. When N become very large or it goes to the very large value, we can say that Z equivalent goes to the zero value or negligible is small. When the Z equivalent is very small, we can say that terminal voltage is equal to the excitation, and hence we are able to obtain the constant voltage regardless of the connection, regardless of the load. Load increases, load decreases. Since the equivalent impedance is nearly equal to zero, it does not affect over the terminal voltage. V is equal to E minus say zero value. So it is V is equal to E. So hence we can obtain the constant voltage regardless of load current or load condition. Second is second we want frequency to be constant. So second case we will consider that again the large number of generators are connected in parallel, same way here is a, so next is the part B is the proof of frequency constant. Let inertia of one machine, rotational inertia of one machine or alternator is equal to J. Let there are n number of generators or n number of alternators are connected. So therefore the total inertia is equal to J plus J plus J and so on, which is equal to N into J, where N is the number of machines, number of alternators are connected in parallel. Therefore, acceleration of alternator. Acceleration of alternator is equal to torque divided by inertia. Acceleration means we come to know in the previous lecture. Say in the previous lecture we found that this is our P delta curve. Okay, this is this is our P delta curve. This is electrical power output PE. Okay, and here say for example this is the line which represent where mechanical input is equal to electrical output. So the machine is working at initial angle say delta 0. When the electrical output or electrical load on the generator is increases, I am talking about the single generator is there. When the load on the generator, electrical load on the generator get increased, at the same time the mechanical input will be smaller and hence generator will decelerate, means its speed start decreasing, where the angular velocity of rotor decreases with respect to the synchronous speed of the alternator, and therefore we can call as a deceleration of the alternator. When there is a deceleration of alternator, frequency is smaller than the rated frequency or operating frequency, or we can say that the synchronous speed at which it will give the frequency or say normal frequency is there. Similarly, the sudden drop in the electrical output, when there is a sudden drop in the electrical output, the generator will accelerate, whose speed is get increased, and under such condition, the speed of the alternator is greater than the synchronous speed, and similarly, the frequency is greater than the normal frequency. So this acceleration and deceleration is because of the sudden change or change in the output of the alternator, isn't it? Now here what we consider that there are number of alternators, those are connected in parallel, and as they are connected in parallel, the inertia of the in total effective inertia of the total machine is so large that the acceleration or deceleration, here the written is acceleration, but it is also the deceleration of the alternator is equal to torque divided by inertia. So when the torque is very small, inertia is very large, the generator neither accelerate nor decelerate. So when the generators or one of the generator does not accelerate and decelerate because of the impact of load on the system, the frequency of the generator will remain same, or the frequency of the bus will remain same. Hence, we can obtain constant voltage and constant frequency when number of alternators are connected in parallel. So this is the proof. This is the proof. Under such condition, so acceleration goes to the zero value. When acceleration is zero, generator neither speed up nor slow down its speed, and hence the frequency will remain constant. So this is the proof of terminal voltage or voltage remain constant for the infinite bus, frequency is remain constant, and hence the phase angle of the infinite bus voltage will remain constant. So this is the significance, and this is the very brief introduction of infinite bus. Now we will see the parallel operation of alternator. Parallel operation of alternator. Why we do parallel operation of the alternators? So the reason is that if you are supplying a single load by a single generator, we need higher capacity of the generator. Say for example, we have a load curve. Might learn the load curve in power system 1. So it is plotted between time versus demand, or time versus load is there. Say for example, this is the load curve is there. It's a daily load curve for simplicity. This is the load which needed 24 hours. So this is called as a base load. Base load. Okay, this is the time, 24 hours, and this is the load. Now this is the second load, which is occur for some 20 hours is there. So second load is there. And this is occur only for, say, for example, it is occur only for 4 hours. And this is the third load is there. So total load is, say, 500 megawatt, whereas this is your 200 megawatt, and this is 200 megawatt is there. So total is 500. So we can use one option is that 500 megawatt or MVA, one alternator only, isn't it? Or we can make two alternators, those are working, or three alternators, those are working in such a way that one is the 200 megawatt alternator, second also the 200 megawatt alternators, and third is 100 megawatt alternators. So if you are using first option, in this case, the generator has to be run 24 hours, and in the sometimes this is the times which is shown by say green color. During this time, the 500 megawatt generator is running idle, or there is no load on the system, and whereas the constant losses will be there, total mechanical input will remain constant, and hence it does not give the efficiency. It's hardly so 50% efficiency it will give, isn't it? The second one is that if you combine three alternators in such a way that one is running 24 hours, second is run only for 20 hours, and third is run for only 4 hours, then what happened? Every generator efficiency will be 80 to 85% is there. It will run at 85%, it will run at 85%, and it will give the effective utilization of infrastructure. This is one thing. Second thing is that if we keep now suppose the 501 generator is get failed because of some failure in the alternators or somewhere, we have to keep here one more 500 megawatt alternator as a reserve capacity. Okay, this is the things. Now if we are running three generators are in parallel, we have to keep, or there is a only 200 megawatt alternator kept as a reserve capacity, so which is sufficient failure of one of the alternators. It is quite impossible that both alternators get failed. So one alternator get failed, even for the 100 kilowatt alternator fail, we can run for some time is at 200 megawatt alternator as a reserve capacity. So here the reserve capacity has been reduced by 500 megawatt to the 100 megawatt. So the installation cost of the generating plant get reduces. Second, it will maintain the reliability and the security of the system. If whenever one alternator get failed, the system will remain stable, or say it will maintain continuity of supply in the system. So this is the one power plant supplying to the load. Now if we have different generating stations, they are combined in such a way that, so under such condition, we have a reliability on the system. If one of the generating station is failed, suppose the Deepnagar power plant failed to supply, Jalgaon does not remain in the dark. The power is going to supply from the Nasik, power is going to supply from say thermal power plant Kuradi, or it may be Paras, or maybe from the Chandrapur. So because of interconnected system, the reliability of the system get increases, security of the system get increases, and the total cost of the generation cost get decreases. Here, if suppose you are working only 500 megawatt generator, the generating cost will be higher. Under such condition, the generating cost will be high. So the generating cost will be very high. Whereas if you combine the different type of generators as well as different capacity of generator, those are connected in parallel, the cost of generation is decreases, isn't it? Because it will increase the load factor. Load factor is nothing but the average load divided by maximum demand. So for example, this is the load curve. The maximum demand is 500, whereas the average load is only 300 megawatt. So 300 megawatt is the, say, I'm just taking example, 300 megawatt is the average load, whereas the maximum demand is 500 megawatt. So this is the load factor. Now I consider the generator, say this generator 200. Here the maximum demand and average load is same. So here the load factor is equal to 1. Say here in this case, for this time the generator does not supply any load or power. So here the average load is smaller, but say for example here the average load is say this is average load factor is 1. Now load factor for the second generator is equal to average load is 190 megawatt, whereas the maximum demand is 200 megawatt. So again the load factor is high. One curve just I would show, it is not related to the machine, but to understand what are the advantage of parallel operation. It says that here is the load factor and here is the relative cost of generation. So as the load factor is small, say 0.2, 0.4 and so on, the generation cost or relative generation cost is higher one. And as the load factor increases, say up to the 1, the cost of the generation becomes smaller. So these are the some technical as well as economical advantage to run number of generators are in parallel. We found that in Maharashtra also, it is a combination of thermal power plant and hydropower plant. In dry season, water is not available in the Koyna, so we can do maintenance over the generating station of the Koyna power plant. And during that time, our thermal power plant, Chandrapur thermal power plant, Deepnagar power plant, Eklera power plant is going to supply power to the entire area. Now, in the rainy season, when the ample quantity of water is available in the reservoir, entire load or the maximum load is going to handle by the hydropower plant, and we can do the maintenance can be carried out over the hydrothermal power plants. So we can say that the parallel operation or interconnected power system advantages can be explained in the one word, is that mutual assistance. So this is the mutual assistantship is there. It will give easy to maintenance, reliability of the system, continuity of the system, cost of the generation get decreases, as well as there is an increase in load in some of the area. Instead, without disturbing the existing system, we can add one more generator of 100 megawatt. One can add 250 megawatt as per the requirement of the load. We can the generator can be added without disturbing the existing power plant. So this is the advantage of parallel operation of the alternators. So in the next time we will take what are the conditions for the parallel operation and procedure to connect a new machine to the existing machine. So parallel operation condition is that initial necessary condition to connect, say for example, this is the one generator is connected to the system, and here it is required to generate one more generator in the existing system. So this machine is called as the incoming machine, whereas this is the grid voltage or this is the bus voltage. So to connect the incoming machine to the existing generator or to the infinite bus, the necessary condition is that voltage magnitude must be same as that of bus voltage. So whatever the by changing the excitation and keeping speed constant, the voltage of incoming generators try to maintain, which is equal to the bus voltage. For example, bus voltage is 400, bring the voltage of incoming generator up to the 400. Second, phase sequence should be same, Third is that frequency must be same. Otherwise, after some time, the phase sequence become different and it will draw a local current into the two alternator. Local current means the current does not supply to the load. It does not supply to the load, whereas the current is going to circulate in between two alternators. So this is the necessary conditions are there. One more thing is that here the capacity may be different. Type of the generator may be different. The capacity, so 200 megawatt generator may be connected with the 500 megawatt generator. Similarly, hydropower plant is connected with the thermal power plant. Thermal power plant is connected to the gas power plants and say nuclear power plant. So here the type of power plants and the capacity of the generator is doesn't matter. The necessary condition is that the voltage magnitude should be same, phase sequence should be same, and frequency must be same. And the desirable condition is that the governor characteristic or the dropping characteristic of alternator should be same. Dropping characteristic is that suppose this is the load on the generator and this is the speed of prime mover. So this is related to the characteristic of prime mover. Prime mover may be a hydrothermal, say it's a water turbine, it may be a steam turbine is there. Suppose all the generator has such type of characteristics, say 2% or 3% dropping characteristic is there. In such situation, the generator will supply power as per their capacity. Otherwise, a small generator overloaded and higher capacity generator get underloaded. So this is the necessary and desirable condition of alternators for connecting in parallel. So the remaining part we will take in the next lecture.